Hi, I'm Jim Pendree, and I'm here with George Woods, and we're going to talk a little bit about Sunrider and his experience. So, George, I met you last September, October, in there somewhere, and you had been talking to one of my other customers. He's a long-term friend of yours, and he told you to come over and get some quinnery. So, how are you feeling, and kind of what was going on in your life at that point?
At that point, I wasn't feeling that great. Obviously, I was looking for, trying to find something that was going to help me out with some of my health problems. So anyway, he told me to go there and get a bottle of quinary, and that would probably help. Well, of course, once we sat down and talked, we needed, I got onto a program here and I'm taking a lot more than just quinary. So that's kind of how it got started. And my health wasn't that good. I've had a pretty hard job in my life, and I'm physically, and basically I've had a lot of back problems. I've had a couple back surgeries and that type of thing, amongst other health problems I do have. And I've really always been looking for an answer or some direction as where to go with all this, because I've tried so many different things. And that's where you came in. So we sat down and started talking about my health and what you could possibly help me with. So that's about it for first meeting, and then we went from there, Jim.
Now, George, just to give kind of the people listening to this, because there was a few points that I wanted to cover with this, and one of them is that you and I just kind of connected on our beliefs about diet and that our body could heal itself if it had the right raw materials, and there's so. And that's one of the things that I wanted to kind of bring out in this conversation, is that often people think, "Ooh, is there some kind of a magical thing you say to someone that they're interested all of a sudden?" And the thing with you and I is that we just clicked, right?
Yeah.
And later I went to ask you a bunch of questions as I was working on, a different. We're always working on a different niche statement of some sort, and I'm just experimenting. And one of them is that I help men who used to feel energetic and sharp and they could take on the world forever. And now they're not taking on the world at all, and they're not feeling energetic and sharp, and they'd like to do something about it. And in fact, maybe they've got one foot in the pasture and they're unhappy about it. And so I ran that past you later after you'd started on Sunrider. And every time I mentioned that or any variation of that, you were just like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And so it really comes down to, doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man and what age you are or what your situation is, there's going to be people you're going to connect with who feel just like that. We're looking for an answer. Yeah. So in my case, we just sat down, and of course I had solved all these problems kind of with myself and other people. So that's why we connected. Now, when you came to me that day, that you said you had a rash around your neck that you were trying to get rid of, and you were in a lot of pain. And I think you were pretty tired.
Yeah, I was wore out, and I felt like I had more than one foot in the grave. So it was, I was desperately really trying to find something. I've tried so many things in my life, and nothing really worked for me. So
now you mentioned that you've gone to naturopaths and you've been to a health food store many times, and you had a kind of comment about when you walk into a health food store, they're always trying to do something. You want to mention that?
Yeah. Well, basically, I'm like everybody. I started out on vitamins years and years ago, eating lots of vitamins, thinking that was doing me a lot of good. And it sure did me a little bit of good, but spent a lot of money and wasted a lot of money. I think I've seen naturopaths, trying to get healthier. I've had like high blood pressure and stuff, been working on that. Nothing really worked other than the pills the doctors give you. And so health food stores, I still go to them a little bit, but not really, just to get a shake that I like drinking in the morning, and pretty much 100% Sunrider products now. But yeah, the health food guys, no matter which store I went to, seems like they're always trying to sell you more and more and more. And of course, it's all about money. And there's one particular place in town I go to, and there's a staff on there. And every time I go in there to try and find out about getting something different, they always say, well, you should try this. And they always reach for the biggest bottle. I noticed a small one there, and they go grab the big one and put it in my hand and say, there, try that out. Well, of course, if it doesn't do anything. It's just a waste of money. And so I've had so many like stores like that. I just don't feel like I was ever really getting the straight goods on what I need, and I don't think they even know. They sell product, and they try and help. That's been my experience. I've tried many things, spent lots of money over the years, and really haven't had a whole lot of satisfaction until I met you. And the other thing is, you sit down and you talk and help figure this stuff out for me. Most of the other places you can't sit down and get direction. You have no direction. You're just kind of guessing on your own what you should possibly be taking. So that's kind of where I've been at with my health over the years. I've tried chiropractors and you name it, everything, and really got nowhere. Just kind of in the same position every year. I get a year older and I get a year sorer. So can't seem to win.
So when I sat down with you then, and I said to you, well, I talked about, Quinary is good because it's going to help balance your body systems and get things working better. But we really need to look at this as to create a foundation, and that's nourishing, balancing, and cleansing. And so it brought in the New Plus and the idea of Fortune, Delight, and Cali. And then I mentioned we should get a vitality analysis done and figure out what your diet should look like. And we need to see what's going on under the hood. Otherwise, we are just guessing. And that's kind of what everybody else was doing for you. And so when that came back, I think you started on the basics at that time. And then when the results came back for your vitality analysis, you made some serious changes with your diet.
Yeah.
And I knew like right away, you were talking about how your cravings were less and you were feeling better, and you had a bump. I'm not sure what it is, lymphoma, I think, on your neck.
Yeah.
And that was shrinking, and you were just happier. And I just remember you being so much happier. And anyway, so you were getting the results and you were quite happy. And I made a few little adjustments with your program as well. And I added the Meta Booster.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty happy with that. And so anyways, you've been doing pretty good. And then the other day when you came over, we're in March, so we're roughly 6 months later.
Yeah.
We're talking about your blood pressure.
Right. Yeah. I've always had high blood pressure since I've been young, early 20s. And what they've done over the years, they start you in one pill, and then pretty soon you're up to 2 pills. And eventually I was up to 3 different pills for my blood pressure. And so I knew this is like not the way to go. Obviously, it's just more medications that they all have side effects and different things. And once I started seeing Jim, I noticed almost immediately, well, within, let's say, a month, I've kind of noticed that my blood pressure seemed to be getting a little lower. I monitored it on a fairly often, and just to kind of see what it was doing. So once I noticed it seemed to be going down a bit, then of course I started watching it more and more. And then, probably a month or six or 8 weeks ago, I was getting dizzy and lightheaded and just not feeling good. And I thought, what the heck's going on? So anyway, I called my doctor, and he suggested I go off one of the blood pressure pills and double up on another. So I was still taking 3 pills a day. Did that for a couple of weeks, and he wanted me to call him back after a couple of weeks. I'm still lightheaded, and actually I felt a little bit worse even. So he said, well, I don't really know if you need this other pill, because I'd also been monitoring my blood pressure, and it had gone down. It was actually too low. So he said, let's just try taking you off one of these pills totally, the one that we doubled up on. So now I'm just taking 2 pills, and my blood pressure's actually below where it really needs to be. And so, to me, that was like proof in the pudding right there. What this is starting to work, because I've had these problems for so many years. So anyway, so I'm just trying to stay healthy, and hopefully I'll be dropping another pill in another 6 months or something. So
that'd be very exciting. So
it would be.
So just to kind of go over some of this, your energy is better, you're happier, your cravings have changed, and you're eating a lot more of your own food now instead of eating in restaurants. And I know that was a mental decision.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been eating in restaurants half my life too, and of course, it's not the best food. Never been much of a cook, so anyway, I just decided once I got involved with you and Sunrider, I'd work on getting healthy. I've tried that before, but it's never worked. But first thing I noticed is a lot of my cravings have gone away. So that helped a lot with just buying junk food and different things that we all seem to eat, and we know it's no good for us, but we eat it anyway. And so, yeah, I've really found since I've been on this program for approximately 6 months now, my cravings have like diminished quite a bit. My pain's quite a bit better. I was quite foggy brained when I first met you, and I'm way more clearer now, and just have the energy that I need. So all these things, to me, are fairly obvious that Sunrider is a direct result of that, and then you helping me and kind of directing me, what to do and what pills to take and that type of thing has made a big difference, in my health. And so I'm just moving forward. I can't say enough about how I feel being healthy too. I just I'm feeling really good these days, and happy, and less pain, and yeah, I'm exercising every day. So it's definitely made a big difference for me anyway.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned that the money that you're spending, you're saving it on all the other products that you are using and not eating as much and stuff. So you said it really is broken even.
Yeah, like I was always buying lots of stuff from the health food stores, and I was spending $200 or $300 a month there. So now I'm not spending the money there, other than the one shake I buy. And other than that, so that cost has gone down. And then just constant, always looking and trying to find something different. So you're always trying different stuff because you're trying to regulate all this stuff yourself, and you really don't know enough about it. So never had the help that I have. I have one-on-one with you lots with my health, and that's really what I needed to get a proper start on this.
And as much as I'd like to take the credit for that, it all kind of goes back to the vitality analysis. And yes, I've adjusted things a little bit, but you don't have to be a real expert in Sunrider. And yeah, it helps. I've got a few years experience, but the vitality analysis, I've just always used that tool, and I found it so helpful.
Yeah, one more thing, Jim. Sunrider product, it tastes really good too. Most of the stuff I've tried here and there and everywhere, most of it's hard to even stay on because some of it just tastes like crap. So, yeah, I can say Sunrider is definitely very easy to take. So
that's right, and that's huge, right? Because it's one thing to make the change, but that's another to stay on something. And the cravings usually suck people back into that old lifestyle that keeps them not feeling well, but also the taste. Like, I love Fortune Delight. I just can't imagine life without Fortune Delight.
Yeah.
And I think you quite like it too.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. I take quite a variety of stuff. I mean, I've totally quit coffee, which I never thought was possible because I drank coffee all my life. Pretty much knocked out a lot of dairy in my life right now. I'm not eating very little wheat products. I mean, I'm reading labels all the time now and trying to stay away from wheat. So all these things have just helped me kind of move ahead because my cravings aren't what they used to be. It's working for me, Jim. That's all I can say. It's great stuff, and it is working for me. So
excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I hope everybody enjoys this. So take care.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.